Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick little vlog. My kids are stomping around outside, so probably get interrupted. So right now on Twitter, starting yesterday, a fun new hashtag is trending. Hashtag pick a side YouTube. Um, it was spawned. It was spawned. It was begun by some YouTuber who I have not heard of, so I haven't really researched their stuff yet. Probably a right winger, but I haven't watched them. I watched part of the new video that spawned it. But anyway, Mama Max, I think it is, where supposedly this person exposed exposed pedophiles on YouTube. And I started watching the video, and then there were a couple of clips in there that I was like, ding, ding, ding. Like one of the brief clips it shows in the beginning of supposedly a person that was silenced for exposing pedophiles is just some white male, Kyle Rittenhouse lookalike, with an American flag and an, assault rifle in the background. And it was like, look at this poor canceled person. And I was like, yeah. So here's the thing about tags like pick a side YouTube. They're a tool that unfortunately get used a lot by right wingers. And sorry, I'll do a more organized video about this in the future, I promise, but I wanted to get some thoughts out while it was, fresh in my thinking about stuff. God, the coffee hasn't hit yet. Anyway, so the thing about tags like pick a side YouTube or whatever, it's just a modern, technology driven method used by right wingers the same way that they have for decades, hearkening to the whole, can you guys please stop stomping around? Lord. The whole, think of the children. And here comes Aiden. I'm just going to plow on and ignore my 3-year-old stomping around right in front of me. So it goes back to, the whole think of the children meme, if you want to call it that. Please go, Aiden. Come on. Go on, Grandpa will get you a banana. Come on. And now the puppy's in here. Go, guy. Thank you, Dad. He's trying, but my kids are. So as you can tell, I have children, and obviously, pedophilia is a. I mean, even before I had kids, but especially having kids is a huge, thing that I worry about. Anyway, so going back to, the think of the children meme or whatever. In logical fallacies, there's a couple that apply here, but the big one is called a red herring. And basically it's when a bad faith actor uses something as sort of a catch-all to kind of trick people into agreeing with their argument when it's not even about the same thing. And it's been used many, many, many times. Like one of the examples that, immediately pops into head is also, again, pedophilia, where they're like, oh, trans people are going to rape children. That's why trans people shouldn't be allowed to use the bathroom that they identify with, because they'll rape children. And it's like, that doesn't happen. I'm sure if you really, 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 really dug, you could find, a trans person that has committed pedophilia in a bathroom. But the vast majority of people that perpetrate pedophilia are cis, or cis men. And, like there's already plenty of laws about not assaulting people in the bathroom. So how is banning trans people from using the bathroom for the gender that they identify with going to stop pedophilia? But they use these red herrings that, it's like, oh, if you oppose them, then you're enabling pedophilia, then you support pedophilia. And so back to the pick a side YouTube tag, unfortunately, people who aren't addicted to political Twitter and who aren't, immersed in the space of seeing the bullshit tactics that right wingers use, they just see pick a side YouTube, it's anti-pedophilia. Of course, I don't support pedophilia. So they retweet these things. They keep these things trending. But then you look at the accounts of a lot, I don't know if I'd say the majority, but a lot of the people that jump on these hashtags, and you scroll back a page or two in their likes and their retweets before pick a side YouTube started trending or whatever. And you'll find just like racist jokes, transphobic jokes, jokes, anti-vax, bullshit, like just all this right-wing shit. Because there's this weird phenomenon where right-wingers will use these red herrings, like I said, like the trans bathroom thing, to kind of whip up this self-serving public outrage. Because in the case of this one for YouTube, right-wingers are already mad at YouTube for finally banning Alex Jones. Not that he's lost any followers, for saying that like Sandy Hook was a false flag, and that something of water making frogs gay, like crazy shit. And it took sustained public outrage to finally get him removed. And of course, you knock one crazy right-winger out and there's many, 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 many to follow. I've done previous videos about how YouTube loves to enable, incels and and like radicalizing figures who are kind of preying upon people that are lonely, are feeling ignored, where it's the point. Sorry, I keep saying pointing the figure. Like there's a meme where it's why do I keep saying where it's this sort of coal miner sitting at the table, and then across the other side is a black person, and then there's this rich guy in the background, and there's I keep saying there's a single cookie between the coal miner, the white coal miner, and the black person, and then the person in the background is like, he is trying to steal your cookie. And so the coal miner and the black person are like glaring at each other. Meanwhile, the stand-in for the right winger or the CEO or the rich person or that kind of thing is in the background with all the other cookies. And that is what I'm talking about. Using tags like Pick a Side YouTube is capitalized on by right-wingers who want to use the trending popularity of that to be like, yeah, let's take down YouTube. But they don't actually give a shit about pedophilia. If they did, they would stop voting for politicians who are literally pedophiles, or lawmakers who pass these nonsense laws like banning trans people from bathrooms, and actual real world consequences. Again, or get into the pro-choice versus forced birthers. If they actually gave a shit about children, they would vote for universal healthcare. They would vote for assistance to parents and stuff, but they don't actually give a shit. They're just using it as a tool to control women. So I guess I wanted to make this video just in case there's anyone out there. I tried to have this Twitter discourse last night around the tag where I was trying to point out how right-wingers are co-opting this tag. And unfortunately, as intended by the right-wingers, I had either other right-wingers throwing pepes at me like, oh, what's wrong with right-wingers, or just memes or whatever. And then I had people saying, oh, you're defending pedophiles. No. Pointing out how right-wingers use that tag to direct outrage towards things that they dislike for other reasons is not saying I support pedophiles. And that's such a non sequitur. It's just frustrating how people don't think about how they're being used. And I hate talking like that because then I sound like a conspiracy theorist. But just be aware of how your moral outrage is being used as a tool to further goals that maybe you don't agree with. Maybe you aren't, maybe you're not a Nazi, but because they're using this quote unquote anti-pedophile outrage, they're again using you as a amplifier of their rage at places like YouTube for banning Nazis. So at some point, I don't know, maybe today when Aiden takes his nap, except that Link is still home from kindergarten for the holidays, so it'll still be noisy, but I was thinking I would live stream as I go into Twitter and go to the profiles of a lot, if not most, of the people using the Pick a Side YouTube hashtag. And like I said, scroll down and start showing how right before that tag started trending, they're throwing out just anti-Semitic shit and anti-vax shit and all this right-wing stuff to hopefully demonstrate why I'm saying that right-wingers use this kind of stuff, so that anyone who might watch this, again, who obviously is anti-pedo but doesn't understand that they're being used, can make an informed decision about who you're choosing to support. And I'm not saying you can't use the tag. More, I think that if you don't want to amplify Nazis, incels, etc., make sure you're not retweeting people who are Nazis, pedophiles, etc. Not pedophiles. Well, a lot of them are actually projection, bedrock of right-wing ideology. Just take 5 seconds to look at the profile history of the person you're retweeting and make sure that they're not, when they're not pretending to care about pedophiles, advocating for other heinous shit. And yeah, just be a little more careful. I would recommend you write your own tweet about the tag and maybe tie it in with something that's not a red herring. Like say YouTube stop enabling pedophiles and white supremacists and medical information, stuff like that. Throw something else like that in to delineate that you're not one of these right-wingers using it as a tool. And sorry, I know I'm repeating myself. I'm a little frazzled, just kids and everything. The other thing that I received was a lot of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, which is a super fun thing to say, except when you're part of the groups that your enemy is actually harmfully targeting. And again, if you weren't amplifying the Nazis, etc., by using this tag, that would be different. That's why I'm saying use the tag, but make your own original tweet. It's when you're retweeting and you're giving engagement to Nazis, etc., that you're actually helping out the Nazis. And yes, I'm using Nazi as a catch-all for basically the Pepe type that's just like, lol, that kind of shit. No, I'm not saying they literally follow Germany communism models, well, alleged communism. That's the whole thing. So I'm just using Nazi as a shorthand for that kind of person. But a lot of them actually are straight out Nazis and swastikas in the background and shit like that. So yeah, some of them actually are full on Nazis. All right. So yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing. I don't think that that's a mature response if you're enabling people that, when they're not pretending to support pedophiles, or not pretending to be against pedophiles, they are voting for lawmakers that are actively hurting people that you might care about, people of color, trans people, etc., like that. Be careful about being used as a tool. That's that's the purpose of this video. And look at the comments that this very video is going to get, at least until it's banned for false flagging by Nazis using the algorithms to say that there's sex and nudity in this video, even though there isn't. I'm wearing a shirt. Just please be smarter. Please look at who you're amplifying and make sure you're not being used as a tool to drive engagement for terrible people. Bye.